We've got your opening night roster, and Utah's youngest rising star rejects a record contract offer.
You are Locked On Mammoth, your daily podcast on the Utah Mammoth, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into Locked On Mammoth. I'm veteran NHL voice Tom Callahan, joined by longtime team analyst Robyn Leaño, and together we're the dynamic duo that brings you Locked On Mammoth each and every single day. Thanks for making us your first listen when it comes to the Utah Mammoth Hockey Club. We have so much to talk about. The opening night roster is out. Logan Cooley has said no sale to a deal that would have made him the highest paid Mammoth player going. But Robyn, on the heels of Kirill Kaprizov's huge contract after his initial rejection, and now Connor McDavid doing an absolute solid to the Edmonton Oilers by taking a sweetheart budget deal, Cooley says no. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But before we get to all that, I think we got to tell people, hey, here's who made the roster. Surprises, no surprises. And, of course, there's some IR news coming along with all of that. But, Robyn, we're getting close. We're so close to dropping the puck.
It feels so. You know what's amazing is NHL hockey will be played tonight, Tom. Like, it feels so good.
Isn't that wild? Mammoth don't open till Thursday, so we still have a couple of days of anticipation and build-up, right?
I know, there's still some more anticipation, but the fact that we're here, we're finally the beginning of the season, and it feels so good. It's my favorite. This is my favorite time of year. You know, I absolutely love it. Opening night is a great time. I remember every single time. It was always absolutely hilarious. My good friend Leah Merrill, who hosted the PHNX Coyote show for a long time and does occasionally PHNX hockey, she'd always occasionally, when either via our fantasy league or whatever, would just do like the day before, like one of those short stories that's kind of like the to the similarity of Night Before Christmas, but it was like towards the night before hockey. That's because you just get that level of excitement. You're like, let's go.
I know. I love it. I'd love to hear from people in the comments too. What do you get most fired up for? Like, what is your signal that it's time to get ready for hockey? What is that thing, that trigger for you? I'd be curious to hear what people have to say. But Robyn, I mean, this is a trigger for me. It's time for hockey. Hey, ta-da! We've got the 25-26 opening night roster for the Utah Mammoth. For the most part, I don't think there's a lot of surprises. The goalies are exactly what we thought it would be. The defense, I do think there's a little bit of a surprise on here in that number 26, Dimitri Simishev, is on the opening night roster. Now, as we had foreseen, they do carry 8 defensemen to start the year. And the 6 we mentioned are there. Plus, we figured Nick DeSimone was going to be there as number 7. But Simishev, it's interesting because if you're keeping him, Robyn, to me, that says he's probably going to get playing time, right? Wouldn't you think?
I mean, that's their plan. You just look at what Bill Armstrong has been saying all off season long, right? The plan is to get them to play, get him playing time, right? But what's interesting, Tom, is you took a look at what Dimitri Simishev played and how he did during the rookie camp, the rookie face-off. And I know, Tom, I said that I barely take anything with those, from those games because it was two games, 2 days of practice and then scrimmages like that back to back, and just all kinds of mishmash or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, he just did not play well during there, and he progressively got better, and actually started to look like he's fighting for a roster spot and ended up making it. I would definitely want to see him get playing time. I want to see in this kind of a lineup rather than a preseason lineup, because those are different. But where exactly do they play Dimitri Simishev? Who do they pair him with?
Okay, this is a great question because I'm looking at it too, and I'm thinking to myself, How do I make an argument, compelling argument, not just an argument, but a compelling argument, Robyn, to put him in the top 4, right? Who am I bumping? Sergachev? No. Durzi? No. Mata? No. Marino? No.
Yeah.
I suppose you could move Mata down, or you can move Marino down.
I would say if you really wanted to get him some top 4 minutes, you can move Mata down. You can maybe get like a Mata Cole situation going down on the third pair and have Durzi because you want him alongside someone who knows how to play the game and who can really kind of set a foot forward. But have Durzi and Simishev together, I think would look, honestly, I feel that's something I would look really forward to seeing.
Here's the other thing. How do you squeeze him into the power play? Second power play unit, run 2 defense, I understand, because Marino is going to be one of your guys there, or Durzi, rather. But they've had Marino in that spot before. Does it become a Durzi Simishev up top, and then they run 3 forwards? Because on unit 1, it's basically Sergachev and 4 forwards.
Yeah, it would be
2D on the top unit.
Because here's the thing. Adding like because Marino is the trustworthy guy, right? I mean, that's why he's been there. But if you want to still run like a 2D 3 forwards, but maybe you can say, hey, tell Simishev, like we want you to be physical, and we want you to act that, like you are for a D, but we want you to push forward. Marino's that classic, he will be your stay-at-home guy, so he will fall back in case something happens, God forbid, on a power play, but
you can't not have Durzi out there, right? Like, Durzi's got to be your second power play D.
Yeah, no, I mean, you and I have talked about Durzi, like, in general, because the way that Durzi and Sergachev are, right? They are offensive defensemen. They are puck-moving defensemen. That's what they do. And on a power play, it makes sense, right? Because in an ideal world, it doesn't happen all the time, but most of the time, in an ideal world, your power play, you are on the forecheck a solid 95% of the time. So,
go ahead.
You want a puck-moving defenseman in those scenarios.
And I feel like Simishev can move the puck, can skate, is pretty smart, has a good hockey IQ, I think, which is one of the reasons why he makes this team out of camp. I'm just wondering if Utah is going to make that concession for him, or do you put him on a 5-6 and bring him along slowly? Now, he's playing every night maybe on a 5-6, but that means you're bumping Cole or Schmidt, one of those 2 guys out, or you're bumping Mata down, or you're moving Cole and or Schmidt up. But one of those D is coming out if Simishev is in, unless, Robyn, they do our favorite.
The 11-7. Oh,
70.
God.
We love when they dress 70 for a game. You and I are huge fans of that kind of lineup. It could be done. It could be coming. Maybe that's one of the ways that they work him in there without frustrating anybody early. Or you're just going to schedule some veteran rest for Schmidt. You're going to schedule veteran rest for Cole.
See, the thing is, I tried to forget about the 11-7, and now that you put it back in my head, I know Andre Tourny is going to do it. We know it's going to happen.
I'm not a huge fan of that, but whatever. I mean, when it happens, he's going to draw into the lineup, I would imagine, right? D. Simone is the break glass in case of injury. So, but they're starting with 8. I want to talk about the forwards, Robyn. I do want to get to the forwards. The goaltenders, we knew that it's not even really worth talking about. But before we even get to the forwards, I do want to talk about the IR stuff just to clear it up real quick. So Kerfoot is going to start the year on IR. So that makes sense. We saw that coming, and we'll talk about the roster hole that opened up because of it. Here are the other interesting ones, though. Liam O'Brien, Terrell Goldsmith, Yusuf Valimaki, who we already knew this already, and goaltender Anson Thornton starting the year on the injured non-roster list, which means they're not rostered players, but are designated as injured status. So they don't have to assign them or stick them anywhere. Yeah. But it allows them to rehab them basically under Utah's doctor's care.
Plus, too, when it comes to the scenario of a junior team, and I needed to verify this. I just need to double check, but like, I just don't think it's in the right, the right etiquette or right protocol to send a guy who's potentially IR, like who spent potentially any time with training camp, even if he didn't play any games, to your back to a junior squad. Like that kind of seems a little on the nose. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Right? It's like,
I think if you're the NHL team, you have to believe the best possible medical care is in your facilities with your doctors.
Correct. I mean,
so that's why you'd want that.
You compare that versus a team in the juniors. Nothing against juniors, but you're talking about where the money's at, right? And where the NHL, they have these bear no expense, right?
Yes, and there are haves and have-nots in junior hockey too. Trust me.
Someone actually did ask me about Terrell Goldsmith on Twitter, right? They're asking, "Hey, I saw that he's on Tri-City's roster." Like before, this was a couple weeks ago. I saw he's still on Tri-City's roster. Is he going to be in Tri-City this year? Is he going to be in Tucson this year? And it was a good question because Goldsmith is 20, right? So in theory, he's eligible for the Tucson Roadrunners, but
he can play an overage season in junior.
But he can play. He can be one of the 3 overage players to play in Tri-City. But he's still injured. If anyone who's followed Goldsmith knows that he took a really bad injury, I think back in early spring of this last year, and he's been recovering ever since. It's not a good. It was it's a tough recovery for stuff like that.
So at this point, you really don't even concern yourself with where he's going to play. You concern yourself with getting the player healthy.
Exactly.
So and I know the Mammoth want the best for all their prospects, so that's why that happens. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the forwards, and then we do have to talk about, because it's massive, Cooley rejecting the first contract offer. Is it business as usual, or is it a sign of a bank run on the Mammoth vault? All right, today's show brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action while you're watching. Maybe you're a casual fan. Maybe you love diving into the stats, build out that same game parlay. FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño, Locked On Mammoth. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're revealing the opening night roster and giving you our thoughts on that. We talked about the D and the goaltending. We're going to talk about the forwards here, plus Logan Cooley rejecting the first Mammoth contract offer. We definitely have thoughts on that. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the show. If you're on YouTube, click the bell to get the notifications. Share the show with your friends. Every interaction counts. We appreciate you, and we're available everywhere you get your podcasts, just in case you can't always watch us on YouTube. Maybe you want to carry us with you on your old mobile device, or you can ask your personal assistant hiding in that little tin can or plastic box to play the Locked On Mammoth podcast. So, all right, Robyn, I'm going to pop the forwards back up here. So, Schmaltz, Keller, Gunther, Tanev, McBain, Peyton, Andrew Agozzino, Michael Carcone, Tyler Yamamoto, Lawson, Krouse, Peterka, Stenlund, Cooley. I think those 3 in the middle, Agozzino, Carcone, Yamamoto, were the guys we were watching saying, boy, this is going to be a battle. And remember, with Kerfoot out, I think that opened a spot on the wing. And as it turns out, both Carcone and Yamamoto end up in there. And then Agozzino is right now plugging the hole at center. We don't necessarily know exactly what's going on with Barrett Hayton, if he'll be ready for opening night or not. But in the meantime, Agozzino's look pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like Hayton should be ready. That's the assumption at this point. Since he's on, that roster, right?
You know what happens when you assume, Robyn.
Yeah, I know. Still day to day, but it seems that he could be ready. But Agozzino's still coming in. And it's nice because he brings that veteran presence, and I feel like that's, he's someone that I feel like has probably deserved it at this point to get to get on this roster. He's put in the work, obviously. If you've watched him during the preseason, look, he's been stuck in the minor leagues for quite a long time now, right? He's been He played with Tucson towards the latter part of last year, and for a good portion was stuck in Anaheim's farm system with the San Diego Gulls, and has been all over. And I'm like, and at this point, he's like 34 years old, right? I'm like, dude, you deserve it. You deserve your shot. Go ahead, get your cup of tea again.
There you go. There you go. I have to say that I think Michael Carcone was my most watched player in camp. Let's take you back to the spring. It looked like an ugly divorce. It really did.
It did.
Carcone wanted no part of the Mammoth because he wasn't getting the playing time. He felt he was a better player.
Felt like they were going in different directions.
Yes. They grew apart, Robyn. They tried to stay together for the kids. It didn't work. And it took a lot for Carcone to say, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. And he pulled no punches, right?
Yep.
Media day. It's like, nope, not going to be here. But then July 1 rolls around and Carcone didn't really find anything else. So, Robyn, there was a bit of pride swallowing that has to happen for Carcone to say, you know what, my shot is with Utah. But then here's where your character comes into it. If you're Michael Carcone, are you going to pout about it, complain, and do what you always do and show up and go, well, I just deserve more?
Or you can actually put in the work.
Did you bust your butt this summer, come in and show us through your play and your practice that you deserve to be here and you're right about yourself? You're betting on yourself. Show us that you're right. And I think he had an excellent camp. And while I don't know that he's going to be a 40-goal NHL scorer, which he does think he can do, and I hope he does. I absolutely hope he does.
That would be awesome.
But I think he showed me a lot about his character by coming in, working hard, and making this roster.
Correct. Absolutely. And to me, like, I have now the gears spinning and taking a look at now where he fits. And that's what we've been kind of now talking about at this point, right? Where do you see some of these players fit? We'll get more in depth, probably do some more line projections later this week before we get to, game 1 of the season on Thursday for the Mammoth. But I can't help but really love to see him, the idea of Carcone playing on the other side of the wing on Krouse's line with Jack McBain in the middle. Like,
it seemed to work really well, no matter who they were paired with, whether you're talking about Tanev, McBain, Carcone, Yamamoto, whoever.
That's your power forward line.
They were all kind of in the orbit too of the guy we haven't talked about who really needs a redemptive season, Lawson Krouse.
Yes.
I feel like Krouse very quietly has gotten back behind the wheel of the bus and is now driving it once again.
I mean, and again, you and I have talked about this, of how much we were hoping that this would happen. We were hoping Krouse would get the rebound. He wears he is the associate captain, not just a typical alternate captain that might rotate a couple of games that this team tends to do. But Lawson Krouse is he is the associate captain, and he's also a power forward. So when you rotate him in with those players you mentioned, with your Carcone, with Jack McBain, with Brandon Tanev, right? Brandon Tanev is also a little bit more on the like the experience side as well. But when you rotate those guys in, especially of how physical and how fast they can be, I feel like it works all that much better. And I feel like Krouse is finding his role alongside those players.
Well, it's good to see. It really is. I'm very excited for Lawson Krouse to get back to last year was not his year.
Yeah.
It was a bad year. It was a down year.
What's interesting though, Tom, is I think we still foresee him essentially along that third line, but there's nothing against that, right? I think a third, I feel like he will be an incredible third line winger.
And your top 6 is going to include Schmaltz, Keller, Gunther, Hayton,
Cooley,
Peterka, Cooley, right? That's your 6. That's
exactly.
your 6.
That is your 6.
I don't know that there's any room for adjustment or improvement within there. Of course, barring injury, which right now, hopefully Cooley is 100% by opening night. Hopefully Hayton's 100% by opening night.
It still baffles me. That I'm thinking that even though it goes back to of course, still the Arizona days, it still baffles me that there once was a period where Schmaltz, Hayton, and Keller, Schmaltz, Krouse, and Keller were the first line for the Arizona Coyotes.
Yep.
And now all three of them could be either separate lines, or Schmaltz and Keller still on one line, but Krouse now down to a third line role. But again, that's not a bad thing. It just shows that where the rest of the team is in depth and how much they fit well together and finding what their role is in the team.
So what are your thoughts? Omissions on the roster? Let us know in the comments. Was there somebody you would have put on that roster that didn't make it? Likewise, is there someone on the roster that you don't think should be on it?
Here's an interesting one we should mention, though, Tom. We didn't quite say. Didn't make the roster, and I want to get your opinion. Daniel Brute, a notable missing piece, right? And you and I have talked of whether or not he can be it. He was a maybe, right? But he also fought for it.
I actually thought it would work the reverse because they had more room up front for the forwards. Mm-hmm. And you could have now look, if you do send a player like Yamamoto down, he's got to clear waivers. And with I almost said spring like it's baseball. With the training camp he had, I don't know that he'd clear. You'd lose him. So you have to keep him. So maybe that's why Danny Goals ends up being reassigned. So I not that I don't think he wouldn't have earned himself a spot, but number one, numbers. I just don't think there's enough room. But number two, it makes sense roster-wise. Don't want to lose Agazino, especially when you're not 100% on your center's health yet on the first and second line.
Right.
And you didn't want to lose any of your other older veteran forwards.
I mean,
he's got to be the guy.
I mean, take a look at it. Curtis Douglas was just claimed by the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, that is a notable loss as well, right?
It is. And looking at, I don't know if anybody saw the preseason Florida Tampa Bay Donnybrook dust up, Pier 6 brawl. It was crazy. 338 minutes and penalties, I think it was. It was insane.
JJ Mosier, I think, got suspended, I think.
Did you? And this is kind of funny. This is a little aside. We're going to talk a little Eastern Conference for just 1 second. The eighth goal of that game was taken off the board, and I'm trying to think of who it was, had supposedly been thrown out of the game like 6 minutes earlier, and then somehow they missed that, and the player kept playing and ended up with an assist on the eighth goal, and that's how they caught it. They were thrown out like funny. 6 minutes or 8 minutes ago, and never left. Didn't leave because there were so many ejections. That player didn't leave. I wish I could remember who it is off the top of my head. And so they didn't catch it until that player ended up with an assist on the goal. And so then, of course, that's an illegal player. They have to disallow the goal. It comes back off the board, and then they're like, "Get out of here! Hit the showers, kid." Yeah. So,
did they ever tell you, like, since I already mentioned his name, did they ever tell you that? When I was working at Top Golf, I actually checked in JJ Mosier to his golfing bay.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he came up, gave me his phone number as what you would do, and I'm like, and I was like, JJ. I look at him, gives me a Swedish accent. I'm like, okay, cool. And it took me 30 seconds until I lost all the last name. I'm like, oh,
yep.
I did not know how I didn't recognize that.
Yeah,
because when I'm in work mode, I don't pay attention to that. Like any celebrity can come out in work mode, and then I won't register until 3 minutes later.
By the way, it was Nico Mikkola. I looked it up.
There you go.
So Mikkola was thrown out and kept playing. So, all right, we got to get to Logan Cooley. This is huge news. Huge news. Logan Cooley rejects the first contract offer. Is it just business? Is it the way things are done now, or could there be bigger problems afoot?
And today's episode brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire somebody yesterday. And how can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. I know I've had a lot of friends tell me how frustrated they are when they're trying to find the right hire. where they tell me every day without the right person, it's a huge setback. The pressure just gets crazy to them. And that's exactly where Indeed sponsored jobs comes in handy, because they make sure that your post is seen by the right candidates right now. And right now, you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need.
All right, welcome back here at Locked On Mammoth. Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño here with you. Throw your thoughts in the comments now as we start to tackle this topic, or you can wait to hear what we have to say about Logan Cooley's rejection. It was reported earlier today, Robyn, on social media. Frank Saravalli was the guy who came up with this, but this is a lot of money to say no to, but is it a lot of money to say no to anymore? Because it was not a double-digit offer that Logan Cooley turns down. Now, it was an 8-year deal, but $9.6 million times 8 years would have been $77 million.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Robyn, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks.
We have been.
Fans are like, oh, just sign him for 9.2 his contract number. I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Nope. Especially after, and it's something we didn't even do a reaction on, especially after the deal that Kirill Kaprizov signed. Right? Like the deal that Kirill Kaprizov signed, when a guy signs for $17 million a year, what we're going to experience is a whole market reset among contract extensions.
Yes.
So now, like even if you're a comparable player, you're going to use a player is going to use that as an example. Like, okay, I might be this many points less, so let's value that, and the agent will help figure that out. So like, all right, Kaprizov's worth $17 million. I feel like this, maybe we can still get double digits. Now stats, because of that, Tom, stats pages are out there. You know, they do cap projections and salary projections, and they're projecting Cooley to be north of 11 million now.
I can tell you where I think he's going to end up. I'm going to save that prediction for you for a minute or two here. I'm going to talk my way around to it. So Kaprizov is a 40-goal scorer, 80 to 100-point possible guy, but 40 goals when he's healthy. So, but that's okay. Now, if you're ever a 50, maybe a 60-goal scorer, your price is beyond that.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of it, you have the NHLPA absolutely hating Connor McDavid. And they won't talk about this, but they hate Connor McDavid right now for taking only $12.5 million a year for 2 years. Now, obviously, this is a little baby bridge deal for Connor McDavid that extends Edmonton's Cup window 2 years in his quest to not become the best player to never win a Stanley Cup. So
that's honestly, that's like in my eyes, that's kind of like in my eyes, that's kind of his thing, right? Looking at that as an idea, essentially giving Edmonton a 2-year window. Right?
That's what he did.
It's like, win me a cup in 2 years, or I'm considering out of here.
That's it. And he undervalued himself by far, because he's by and large, he's worth more than Kaprizov, right?
Well, 100%.
So here's the thing. Cooley's agent points at Kaprizov. Bill Armstrong points at McDavid. Cooley ends up at $12 million. That's where Cooley's going to end up. He's $12 million. I said it last time. I said he was 10 to 12.
Are we now set on an 8-year term? I think that's kind of where things are. Or
yeah, I think he'll go 8 years unless they find a way to really
bring in a 6-year term or whatever.
Right. They would have to load it to the point where he'd be happy with that. I don't think he's looking 2-3 years. It sounds to me. I don't think they'd have offered him 8. I don't think they'd have offered him 8 if they didn't at least somewhat agree on him wanting to be here in the long run.
So it's interesting how you put it at that. So I've got my prediction. I've got how I think it's going to do, because I actually did. I did some cap math, right? I mean, it's not a whole lot of math. It literally just required some times tables, simple multiplication. So 8 years, $11.5 million for a total contract value, Tom, of $92 million.
See what you did there. I see what you did there, Robyn. Can I accept your 11.5? I could, but I just don't see it. I mean, I'd love to. I think there's some nice, you know, there's a lot of good karma maybe wrapped up in that and coming into that number. I just feel like he won't be McDavid money, but he'll be close. And look, I hate to say this, but with the way the cap's growing, if it continues to grow, because there's no guarantee it does. These are all projections. There's no guarantees.
But what's interesting is the projection just went up.
I know.
The projection just went up.
I know.
Like, it was the original projection for this year, like before this off season, was 104 million, and now it went up to 107, and like an additional 3 million, and that makes a difference, Tom.
Yeah, it's all tied to hockey-related revenue, and that slice of the pie that they get. And then, if the NHL does expand, they're talking $2 billion with a B, billion dollars now for the next franchise.
And here's what's interesting about the expansion is they're already having a serious look at 3 cities.
Yeah,
Houston, Atlanta, and Phoenix.
Yep. And Phoenix is down.
Phoenix is a little bit further down the road, but Houston and Atlanta are like, let's actually entertain this idea.
Atlanta's all but a slam dunk to get the next one, I think.
Pretty much so. Yeah, I have a yeah.
That's all but a slam dunk. We'll see, but
I know a lot of people have their opinions on Atlanta since it was a quote failed twice, but again, third time's a charm. But also, it really goes to show that what matters is finding the right owner. Market, because it's because Atlanta is an amazing market for sports. And all you just need is the right owner to be able to make it actually prosper.
Yep, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. But Robyn, so here's the thing. Cooley said, I'm happy to be here. I want to be here. He says all the right things. I'm not going to focus on it. I'll let my agent deal with it. I think they wanted to get this done before opening night.
Yes.
I no longer think they do. But I think from what I've read and understand, I think that the ball is in Bill Armstrong's court. The Cooley camp has told them whatever this nebulous number is that they need, that they want to make it happen. So I think it's in Bill Armstrong's court. He can either approach that and try to get them to negotiate back down a little bit, give him what he's asking for, or take a little bit of a hardline stance here. But the thing is, they don't want to lose him, and they don't want any ill will or bad blood, but they just, it's going to be a huge jump in salaries the next couple of years. I think Utah's actually pretty well set for the next 3, 4, 5 seasons, but it is a little worrisome to know that it's going to escalate this quickly. At least they have an owner, Robyn, speaking of the right owner,
who's actually opening the pocketbook.
He's on board. So I think it gets done. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't drag out too much longer. Maybe another couple of weeks, if that. But I don't know. I feel like we're heading towards $12 million territory here.
There will be I think there will be, like, in Bill Armstrong's mind, there will be a deadline because they want to get it done before. Well, let's just say, to put it bluntly here, they want to get it done before Cooley gives them a reason to end up getting 13 million or 14 million.
Right.
Because let's say a scenario, and you and I've talked about this, right? I've asked you this question. If Cooley gets named to Team USA, right, and all of a sudden that kind of showcases his talent there, he plays there, gets this team to a playoffs, by the time the offseason comes, he's going to want more money. He's like, look what I just did for you.
Robyn, I ran a poll on our YouTube social page. It said, which player do you think will have the biggest impact for the Mammoth this season? I purposefully left Keller off. So the people I put up were Gunther, Cooley, Peterka, and Sergachev. Believe it or not, Dylan Gunther got 40% of the vote and has won so far. So that one just dropped.
It's Gunner. Like, it makes sense.
But one of the comments we got was Cooley will be the best player on the team by season's end. And if that is the case, and that supports
I
your
don't doubt it.
argument for cost going up and up and up and up, they got to get it done now.
It only makes sense. How many times have you and I, Tom, said that Logan Cooley is going to be this team's superstar? He's
Sign him
not
up.
superstar yet, but he will be. If it's not today, it will be tomorrow. Like,
can you imagine if both he and Keller are pushing 100-point seasons? It's wild.
There'd be.
They may
amazing.
have to beat Team 6-5 every night, but darn it, they're going to do it. So, yeah, we'll see. That would be a crazy fire wagon style of hockey. I don't know. Defense still doesn't give me much faith. But, well, Robyn, we always tell folks to reach out to us, give us their thoughts, their opinions, their comments. You can certainly do it on the YouTube side. But if you're listening on the audio side, Robyn, where can they reach us to talk to us?
Yeah, they can find us everywhere on social media at Locked On Mammoth. That's at Locked On Mammoth. You can find me personally at Robyn with a Y _LEANO. Primarily active over on Twitter/X.
I highly recommend Robyn as a follow. Absolutely worth following the Robyn Leaño show over there on X or Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Callahan on Air. You can find me on Blue Sky. I like hanging out over there at Tom Talks. And you know what? Anywhere you get your podcast, we will be there. Share the show with your friends. We love talking hockey with you. And we're counting it down. Just a couple more sleeps till we drop that puck and get the regular season going Thursday night in Colorado against the Avalanche. Thanks as always for being a part of Locked On Mammoth.